Oh, I need headphones. I ruined it.
I don't got to do anything on my end, right? You just Zoom will get
you're
it.
good. You're good.
You're
Okay,
good.
cool.
Just look pretty, sweet cheeks.
Ladies
Oh,
and
yeah.
gentlemen, you asked for it. We answered. We got him. Lyle Rath is on the podcast.
Let's
I was
go.
requested.
As requested.
As requested.
You are probably the most requested, or at least when mentioned,
there.
everyone was going, I think even higher than
Freaking out.
Ego Raptor, who dodged us, by the way.
Really?
He
shade.
said, I'm coming
No
on.
shade.
No shade. What? No shade from you? There's shade from my end. I'm telling you right now. No
Wow,
shade. No shade.
unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, the Rat King himself, Mr. Rath. What an honor. This is quite
Thank
crispy. I was telling you earlier, but our buddy, friend of the podcast, AJ, sent me, you got to watch this animation. It's so funny. Whoever made it's a genius. It was a certified Lyle Rath original, and I had the joy of telling him, I'll be talking to this guy in what was supposed to be 20 minutes, but thanks to Harris was more like 2 hours.
a
But
little bit longer.
no big deal. No big deal.
It's fine.
Very crisp.
Have you been working on any animations recently? Anything cooking?
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now?
I got a few in the works. YouTube is so weird that like the cartoons are the thing that gets the most views, and I lose money hand over fist on them.
Right,
So
because
I
they're not
really have
long
to-
enough, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I have to play video games as a job so that I can afford working. If you can
Yeah.
believe that, it's
Sounds
weird
about right.
backwards world.
When did that happen? Because I remember the only reason I knew about it is when it did happen. I remember that Psychic Pebbles guy was like going into it, but it was like they pretty much
Like
just switched this.
2012.
But
something
what
like
it was
that.
that they switched it from views to time viewed.
Yeah, watch
that what it
time.
was?
Which I don't know how that metric makes more sense. Maybe there's a quota for how many ads that they can run before they lose your interest, so they can only. I don't know. You would think that clicking around on multiple pages would be more of a like ad space centric thing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's why those lists where it's like top 15 things you can put in your every
Yeah.
single page is like one thing, and you got to click next.
I
Yes.
hate that, dude. I hate
Yeah.
it.
Did you start out on Newgrounds too, or were you born and raised YouTuber?
I started out, I've been on Newgrounds for a while, not really making stuff, but just like kind of lurking.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then, I actually started, I started making videos in like high school, and I was putting them on MySpace Video.
Let's go.
And then this goth girl was like, you should put these on YouTube. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but yes.
Okay.
Dude, when a
want me
goth
to
girl
do
tells
it.
you something, you do it. Whatever.
Yes,
Yes, man.
exactly.
Yes, man.
Drop everything.
Yeah, and I made this like super unfunny Halo video that I didn't make for anyone in particular. I just made it to make my friends laugh. But it was called like Halo 4. So because it was on YouTube in 2007 and it had the title Halo 4 like a month after Halo 3 came out, it was like the top searched thing. So I had like no ambitions in life. I was like 14, like no passion whatsoever for anything. And I was just given like this direction. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this for the rest of my life. And that's, yeah.
Dude, this is the
That's
one time clickbaiting turned into something good, it sounds like.
I guess, yeah. I mean, like the thing about it was kind of like, even back then, it was like a weird insecurity point because I didn't really try. I shit it out in like 2 hours. So I was like, well, like everyone is saying this is funny and I don't really think it's that good. So I better like get actually good at something because this is like weird. I don't want to be known for this.
Dude, the Halo 4 title thing, I think I've brought this up on the pod before, but it reminds me of back when I was in like middle school. I had a YouTube channel with one of my close friends that we were making a bunch of like goofy sketch videos and never got more than like 200 views basically. But we did one that was titled Things You Can Run Over with a Lawnmower. And it was a sketch. Like we only ran over a couple things, but like a lot of other stuff was just us like goofing around. Like we pretended to run over it and we were like, this is indestructible or some stupid. It was not funny, but because of the title, because there were actually people at home looking up like things you can run over with a lawnmower, it started to get a ton of views, but all of the comments were like, yo, who are these? this shit sucks. Like all this, and me and my friend, when we were in like the 6th or 7th grade and we were making this, we were just like, bro, we got to take this down. We got to take it down. We were so afraid of the negative criticism, and actually, we did end up removing it, which is such a shame because it could have been our big break if we had slightly.
Dude, you could have been the next Lyle, bro, if you had just stuck with it, bro.
Or the next Smosh.
There we go.
I needed a goth chick in my corner to be like, "Yo, keep it pushing."
Exactly.
It's on the paper.
They really do make the world go around, and much worse, but also. Better.
Dude, the worst things done by men in the greatest things done by men were the direct result of goth chicks.
I
guarantee it, dude.
It's funny to think about it, you talking about the Halo video, and also I know like one of Ego Raptor's early animations was the Pokemon like Go Pikachu. Remember that one? And then
that wasn't an early one.
I thought it was.
That was mid. That was mid.
Was it mid? I mean, that was one of the first ones that I saw, I guess, because that still came out in the mid 2000s, right?
Harris is new to internet autism,
I guess
so forgive him.
But it's funny, and then didn't one of Psychic Pebble's first viral things was also like an arrow to the knee. Right?
I was in that.
You were in that too?
Were you the guy?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! In high school, that was like the funniest video. Oh, you're the dorky guy?
Sure on both. Yeah. I'd have to look it up again.
No, dude, we got to do a rewatch. That's awesome.
I'm pretty sure I'm both.
Dude, that was the first time I heard
royalties from that video, bro. I hope he's paying you a fat check for that arrow to the niche.
He actually did, when that like blew up, he actually did send me like $1,000. So
let's go.
Let's go. Dude, I don't know. I watch me misquote this because you probably don't even remember the lines, but I distinctly remember that cartoon being the first time I heard the term putrid. I think that guy screams it at the
he says something. He calls him. I think that probably gets it demonetized on YouTube now. They say it's as bad as the N-bomb to say that word.
It's so silly, bro.
Yeah, so if you're going to put this on YouTube, you have to bleep when we say it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care. You can also not care.
That's like
that's totally fine. I had one that I did called Australian Diplomacy. And in it, it's like the most harmless dropping of a ever. he says something like, Australia's not even a real country. Bloody spiders made it up the and like that got and it's like 2 minutes into the video and it got like completely demonetized for that. So I had to re-upload it.
Dude, some people like, I forget the context. I don't think I had used the word, but I might have been looking at something with the word and my mom saw it and was like, that's the N word for women. And I was like,
good, they deserve one.
Let's go.
Did you have, when you were getting started, did you have some like early animations that you were watching on Newgrounds that kind of like inspired you to try the first time? Can you remember any of those?
Man,
I was talking about the Demented cartoon movie. Did you ever watch that? Like way back
I didn't. I've never. Everyone, it's weird because I think that these videos on Newgrounds that I saw as a teenager have like millions and millions of views, and I'll go back and it'll be like 9,000. And it was like, me and my friends used to quote this every day and nobody knew what the hell it was. A big one was I don't know if you know Tomorrow's Nobodies or remember that.
I don't think so.
It was an old, like, it was one of those like old, like kind of old school Newgrounds internet. I'm gonna make tween rigs of me and my friends and we're gonna just talk kind of stuff.
It's awesome.
That was a really early one, and it was one of the first times I had ever seen like a cartoon that was just saying everywhere. And like even some of those older ones, like they still hold up. Like there's still shit that I think is funny or I've like cleaned up in my mind to the point where it's like the deliveries, a
little bit better,
because I mean a lot of those guys it's just like random 20-year-olds recording on a computer mic. But like in my mind it's probably a lot funnier than it is. That was a big one. I'm trying to think like
were you ever into
Newgrounds?
Clay World on Newgrounds? That was big for me, bro. Robert Benfer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knox World. He was one of the this is gonna tie into a question later, but whether you like this title or not, you're part of that like OG Oni's crew. You're part of Oni's crew to a lot of people. You know what I mean?
That's
and
fine. I'll own that.
Yeah. But I think some people prefer being seen as like an individual. You know what I mean? But
oh man, you can never control how you're. I'm just glad I'm not the guy from the Big Bang Theory tweet. Like that
would be
way
fair.
Worse. Yeah, that would be no good.
There's worse things to be known as.
Yeah, definitely.
My point being is I was always shocked that oh my God, the cat's gonna accidentally close the Zoom call. I was always shocked that that Robert guy didn't kind of take off, because his shit was like, I know we're talking about stuff that was crucial to your development, but the early Knox World videos were like everything. That was like my whole humor in high school.
Oh, they were real funny.
I
almost feel like some of these guys were like too early. Like,
right.
I feel like if
if
Homestar Runner was like 2 years later, it would be like giant now. Or like Knox is another one. I mean, like, yeah,
dude, the guy even made multiple movies. I remember there was one, Spatula World.
Yeah,
it was like those living spatulas. And as a kid, it was like, this is amazing. But like, dude, if he had done that type of shit today, I think it would have been like what's that chick's name? Vizzy Pop.
Yeah.
It would have been one of those situations where I think it would have gotten picked up in a heartbeat, dude.
Yeah, I do voices on her show. I do voices on her.
Do you?
Boss.
I still haven't watched that show. I'm very tentative. It's one of those like Undertale things where the fan base is almost turning me off. Yeah, which is dumb.
It's an interesting sort of phenomenon. I don't think there's anything really like it. But yeah, it's definitely like a vibe that you'll either gel with or you won't. But I think there's a lot for a lot of people.
Who do you play for anyone who knows?
I'm just a lot of extras. Like I'm all over season 2 as like pretty much like every male side character.
That's cool. Are you putting on a voice, or do you feel like you're giving your like normal?
It's usually a voice, so that I'm not like super. You can recognize it's me, but like it's usually a bunch of various voices.
That's cool. That's very cool. Do you think that like there's like two categories of animators and like people who create stuff online? There's like a camp of people that really want to try to get syndicated onto like a television program, and there's a lot of people that are just happy to make their money on the internet at this point.
I mean, I don't know if there's like money in internet animation, but I think generally, there's people that want to go there. I guarantee you like 99% of people animating on YouTube have like a pitch Bible ready to go for if they ever like get that call. But
sure.
It's kind of an interesting thing right now, because you're seeing all this with the industry, the traditional Hollywood industry kind of going to so it's like I think a lot of people would like to stay online if there was any feasible way to do that, but like there's not really unless you can guarantee like millions and millions of views. Like those Hell of a Boss episodes get like I think they have like like the pilot has like 50 million views or something like that. So it's like you've got to be doing those numbers, and I wouldn't be surprised if like she doesn't break even on those. I mean, I don't know, like I don't know what her financials are like, but I would assume that that survives more on like merch sales and stuff, because like unless you're directly selling something, like YouTube ads don't pay for.
We know, trust us.
We know. It definitely seems like it could be a good opportunity for one of these like a YouTube platform to really make things more cozy for animators or just like content creators in
or
general.
Just people that try.
Exactly.
I feel like it's this weird thing where YouTube kind of created this ecosystem where their megastars are the people that put out the most content, and it's like just by sheer volume, like the longer you're on camera, the longer you're like talking into a microphone in public, like unregulated, you're gonna eventually say something stupid. So it's like at least if you're making something that you spend a month on and have to look over the script over and over and over again, like there's a little bit more thought that goes into something like that than like, oh yeah, a guy shot me in a video game in a way I really didn't like, and something slipped out. And,
What was the word we were using before we recorded? Tenderqueers. There's like a
you said that. I never said that.
Sorry. I said it.
I
said the word.
Is that like a controversial? I
don't
learned
think
that
so.
from a trans friend, so
that makes it okay.
I think I don't know if that's, but yeah,
no, from my understanding, that's like a pretty common. I think from my understanding, I think the only people that don't like the word are people who are often in
labeled
that
as
category.
yeah,
that's typically how it goes, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. That is true.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, it does feel like with since it seems like Twitter might be on the way out. If anybody's getting canceled, it's got to happen like this week, because after Twitter's gone, like
before it turns into X.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Once you got maybe one last main character to cancel over something
pretty
stupid.
Much it. Listeners at home, if there's anybody that you're trying to deplatform, you got to. I'm telling you, get it in right now, because you're not going to have an opportunity.
We got to do the Nick Fuentes episode ASAP. We got a week to pull it off, baby. I'm excited.
Oh God, man! I really have been trying to refrain from posting anything about this X crap, because like I know it's just in right now, and everybody's like, I can't believe Twitter is dying. Like I'm gonna miss all you guys. I'm like, I'm not gonna miss any of you.
Yeah,
like,
you spent half the time on that website complaining about it. Like, sure, let it burn.
Literally,
dude. Also, all the like, I'm leaving, I'm making Blue Sky, and then like 3 hours later, they're back on Twitter, and I'm like,
yeah,
someone doesn't have
Blue
any
Sky is stupid because they didn't let people use it.
Blue Sky sucks. Dude, I hate Blue Sky, bro.
I'm not on it.
Dude, I made an account. And I was like, "This sucks, dude."
Yeah,
and
I
then
didn't get the invite on the one day I would have made an account if I got the invite, and now I just don't.
Dude, and I'm not gonna make I've heard Threads is even more awful. Like, dude, they were on there. You were sending me the screenshots from Threads of the things going viral, and it's like, the sky is blue, and it's like,
well, I mean, Threads brings over your like Instagram audience, so it's just people that like had big asses or like social lives or like took pictures of their food, which I guess it's a nicer vibe maybe, but it's not particularly interesting. I think what people don't realize about Twitter is like the show is part of the fun, whether you're conscious of that or not.
Yes,
definitely.
Yeah, the
people like getting angry. Like it's fun to get angry, and most people don't realize that, and they just think like, oh, this ruined my day. That's why I spent 8 hours doing it. It's like, you were getting an endorphin rush from that. Like,
it's the new news, bro. Anytime I go visit my dad, the man's watching Fox News, and he's like, I fucking hate Fox News. And I'm like, turn it off. Why are you watching it if it makes you this angry? What are you doing, dude? Like,
my girlfriend's sister has a baby who's he's like,
your girlfriend has a sister?
And she has a baby?
And she has a baby.
I'm not interested in the baby. I'm interested in the girlfriend.
People and discoursing.
If I just said the first part of this story, the second part is going to blow your mind. All right.
Okay. Bring it on.
I catch sometimes she just has like the news on like in the morning, and the baby is sitting there kind of like watching it. Like it's like CNN playing or something. And I'm like, you need to turn this off, all right? This baby is going to be like deformed by the age of like 5. You can't do this.
Dude, I would just be like, yo, there's no way this stupid baby understands what's going on the TV.
This is the news, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but why would it blows my mind that anybody would watch the news at all? Like, what is on there at Fox, CNN? I don't even care, your local news station. It's all like, this is not entertaining.
Now, bro, see, if we were in Mexico, that video that goes viral every year or every day of like the news weather chick who's literally in like painted on dress with just like a caboose the size of your head, and you're like, I'll tune in, I'll watch the Weather Channel, dude. 100%.
Yeah.
Brazilian television, and you guys got to get on it,
dude. Brazil, this is the #1 Brazilian podcast, I think, based on half the emails.
That's why I started. That's why I wanted to be in a metal band, is because Brazilians love metal.
Really?
Oh, dude, Harris, he was telling me before, but you know how the Dave from Silent Happiness started a band?
Yeah,
this guy's in it.
I do actually know about that.
Oh, really?
I'm hoping.
Actually know about that.
I knew it was like a couple creators, but I actually had no idea Mr. Lyle was in it. But yeah, we gotta listen to some tunage. Do you have a release date yet for the album, or you're still working?
No, we're kind of just working on it, and it's out when it's out. But we got an EP out. It's called Godless Sky. Band's called Petrified Giant. EP is called Godless Sky.
Did you purposely quote Linkara It's out. It's out when it's out.
It's out when it's out.
Dude, you can do a good Linkara also. Oh,
It's
that's
a pretty
awesome.
easy one to do.
Man's a professional voice actor. You have to have a Linkara in your back pocket.
That's
Yeah,
good.
everyone needs a pocket Linkara for industry parties.
Who's on vocals in that band? Are you singing?
That's this Australian dude named Marty Leith.
Okay.
And he's in a few bands, but he can do everything from like power metal highs to like deathcore growls and shit like that. So he could do literally anything. So we can just throw something at him and he'll make it way better. So that's
sick. Dude, yeah, I can see just from behind you have a gnarly collection of axes back there. You have to whip one of those out.
Based.
I've seen the photo. I've seen the photo of you holding that V, that the flying V. That one's dope, dude.
Which one?
Is there more than one? I'm seeing one that's sitting on the floor on the far right from where I'm looking.
With the blue or the black?
The black one? Is that
the black one? The sickest one I have is probably like. Let me slide over.
I was about to ask. Show us your favorite, your baby.
One? Oh, that's the one I saw. That's the one I saw a picture of. Yeah, that one
probably the favorite.
Oh, that's tasty, dude.
Woo!
7-string.
Do you ever have trouble
what?
looking at that and then fighting the urge to just sit on it and go all the way down to the floor?
Oh,
you mean it's like so good looking?
Put it up your ass?
That was
What
no,
is
just sit on it and break it, dude.
What is the
I thought you were talking like some compulsion, like, oh yeah, you ever look over a railing and think about jumping?
Yeah.
You know, the one I get is like, if I'm ever cooking naked, I always think like, what if I just like cauterize my dick hole shut, like right now?
Oh my God.
Like, what if I just...
Apparently, dicks do not cook well, according to that German cannibal who went to prison. Do you guys
really?
remember that story? Yeah,
Of course.
He said he was cooking that guy's dick for like 3 hours and it remained tough, and he had to throw it away.
I'm not a professional dick eater or nothing, but I feel like if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it raw, right?
Yeah,
like
sushi.
how often are you gonna?
Yeah,
if you're cannibalizing a dude.
Wait, are we talking? Would you chew it, or you're just gonna like Vaseline it up and swallow the whole thing?
No, you chew it.
Well, I think that was the issue. Is it was too chewy, like even cooked.
The thing is that if you're gonna go through the effort of finding someone who's willing to get their dick cut off and then actually like prepare it to be eaten, wouldn't you have done any research or any preparation to make sure that you were cooking it the right way? Like, imagine finding like a steak for the first time and boiling it because you didn't know any better. You know what I mean?
That's, what I'm saying. It's like getting like Wagyu beef and then being like, I want it well done. Like,
why
eat the dick raw?
Yeah, there probably is a way.
Meats.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to smoke it or prepare it in a way that's actually going to be.
Well, you were telling me you did that, right?
What,
you said you would smoke pink cigars all the time or something. That's you were mentioning.
Yeah, I said that before we hopped on. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, you keep making, bro. I'm sweating. I look like a pig man, and you're over here in your beautiful, beautiful button-down shirt.
I changed out of my sweaty shirt before we hopped on.
Every time you wear a nice shirt and I don't, my mother inevitably sees the episode and says, "Why is Harris dressed so much better than you?" And I'm like, "Please shut up."
Yeah, dude, you look like you could be like running down the beach in front of a sunset or something.
That's what I was doing on my way
Mr.
over.
Handsome. Yo, I completely forgot to buy Zoom, but we're about to hit our first break.
You know the thing, it's like grind, rise, and shine or something like that? We're in the grind phase.
We're in grind phase right now.
You met us in the grind phase.
And I have Grinder on my phone, which is the word sounds similar, so it's like...
Right, too. I'm going to pour up a drink on the break.
Oh, yes, based. Absolutely based.
I'll go down and do a shot so I can kind of match the energy.
We back.
We were just talking about getting work done when you're drunk. Which viewers at home...
We're all drinking water, though.
If you're feeling unmotivated... Oh, yeah. Viewers at home, if you're feeling unmotivated, pick up a bottle, baby.
Pick up a bottle of water and hydrate, friends.
That's
what we're saying.
Thank you. That's exactly right.
Honest question, because every artist I talk to, or not artists, just people who make, they have a different feeling about this, okay? Personally, I was of the mindset, especially when I moved to LA, and it was like, weed was legal. It's like pretty much legal in a lot of places now, but like when I first moved there, it was like just LA and I think Colorado. But do you think there's a danger of people, especially with weed, feeling the need to do substances while they're doing the hardest bits of work? Like for animating, you're doing all those different frames and shit. Do you think there's a danger of falling into, I need to get high for this?
I have kind of a controversial opinion about weed. Is I liked it better when it was shittier.
I
Dude,
agree.
this is not a
I
con.
actually
Dude, I have
agree.
heard this so
Okay.
many times, bro. I hear this a lot.
And now it just fucking makes me sleepy. I used to be, dude. I've lived in California like my whole life. When I'd say maybe like 2011, 2012, back when it was like medically legal, but not recreationally legal. I had a medical license, and you could get like pure sativas.
Glaucoma.
Back problems.
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
But yeah, like you could get a pure sativa, you could smoke a whole joint, and it would be like drinking like 5 cups of coffee.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was, but now it just like everything just makes you tired. It makes your head heavy. Like,
Yeah,
dude, the best shape I was ever in my life was when I was smoking a bunch of weed, and I would just like smoke a blunt of sativa, and I would put on Adventure Time, and I would just pump iron while looking at colorful stimulus. And like, I just got like legitimately yoked. But like back then, my metabolism was so fast. I got sick for like 2 weeks. I got like really sick, and I didn't work out, and I lost so much progress. I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah,
Damn.
no.
Bro,
Yeah.
how old are you now? Mid-30s?
I just turned 31 like a week ago.
Oh, dude.
Let's
Bro,
go.
we're about to turn 30,
Based
dude.
age. Based
It's,
age.
it's Jover, dude. I'm frightened. Well, Harris is you're 28, right?
I am 28. Yes,
Never get older, bro. Never get older.
yeah.
Just stay there. Just stay
Just
there.
stay here forever.
I know your mother has said this plenty of times to you, but just why can't you stay as old as you are right now?
Same age, I know.
Dude,
yeah.
I think part of the reason though that the weed is so strong because like they've done those tests where like what's it called when a pill's not real?
Placebo.
Placebo. They've done those tests where sometimes the placebo works. I think part of the reasons it's so strong now is like in college you're buying weed or high school and it's like, yeah, this is like fire OG, blah blah blah. Now it's like Obama 9000. Like the names are like I look at the name and I get high. Like I'm like, dude, this is
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I remember
my old workout strain. I don't know if it still exists, but it used to be called Romulan, like the bad guy from Star
Romulan?
Trek.
What?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
sick.
Isn't that also one of the brothers that founded Italy by having sex with a wolf? No, that's Romulus.
Oh,
Sorry,
that would have been
there's
better.
a
I've
weird
never
story.
heard that.
Dude, you never
Probably
knew
a connection there.
Italians, the lore is there were these two brothers who were raised by a wolf mother and they founded Italy, the northern and southern parts or something. It's very furry. It's very like
I
proto
thought
furry
they were
type
like
stuff.
Catholics. I didn't know there was Italian mythology like that.
There is, dude, I remember being confused when I went there too.
Is
but,
that why they're supposedly so hairy? Is that like
I think
That they're
so.
Part wolf.
Because, dude, but bro, don't get me, bro. Italian women, dude, when a woman has a little bit of hair on her arms, I go, dude, my head is like unga bunga.
Dude, when she got like
caveman.
the fuzz on her tits, she's got like the one
Just
long
slightly.
hair coming out of the nipple.
Dude,
You know
she
those-
braids
you know
it
those
prison
pictures,
style.
You know those pictures of those guys in like Ripley's Believe It or Not that are literally covered in hair, like everything
The
but their like
Wolfman
eyes?
syndrome, yeah.
Is that what that is? Yeah.
Is that like an indigenous Italian thing?
That is definitely like this was the first Italian. They
Well,
had
dude,
to dial it back
I think
a bit.
we've talked about it before, but I'm always shocked how hairy you are because most like Jewish guys growing up I met were like very hairless. You've got
really?
like a
No,
you've
Jews
got
are
like a
hairy.
lot
Yeah, you
of
must have
body
known
hair.
Sphinx Jews.
Yeah,
There's-
no.
Same, dude.
We
guess.
definitely Jews definitely have a lot of body hair. I feel like Jews have a lot of body hair and we go gray really early. Like a lot of my friends
But
in high
that's a
school
good
and shit
thing,
went-
dude. I hate when
I
guys
guess.
act like it's bad. You look sexy as fuck, dude. Once you get the wings, it's Jover, dude.
It's
Yeah,
Jover.
your
The
girlfriend's
Mr.
not gonna let you
Fantastic
come
shit.
on the podcast with video. Like it's gonna be over, dude.
That's true. Dude, Lyle, I wanted to ask you, I'm sure this is something that you've probably already talked about a million times, but I was curious how did you get linked up with some of those other guys like Oni and Psychic Pebbles and like, how long
Newgrounds
ago was
guys.
that?
I mean I just did like a bunch of voices in Newgrounds cartoons. I did a bunch for I don't know if you know Corey. He was one of the like
Spaz
Supercast
Kid.
guys. Yeah. I used to do
yeah.
a bunch of voices for him, and through him I met Zach, and like it was just kind of a whole circle. So
None of you guys actually like grew up together or anything. You all met online.
yeah, no, it's just basically people Newgrounds is kind of like I said, it was a lot tighter knit community than it seemed. Like it seemed like you know, at the time it's like, oh, these people are giant, but nah, it was just kind of like a little like clique of dudes.
You guys were giants, bro. I mean, dude, I'm not even that much. I'm like 2 years younger than you, but I like, this sounds so fruity, dude, but like, I look up to those guys. I want to do that one day. Those guys are so cool. Like, you guys were giants to a lot of people, I think, like in actuality.
Yeah, I do get like I did an old show called Sanity Not Included on the now defunct.
That's such a cool name.
Yeah,
is Machinima defunct?
Sanity Not Included.
Yeah.
You never knew about this?
Robot Chicken.
Dude, people
with
were glad
games.
about it though, because Machinima was like screwing everyone over.
Yeah.
They were ripping people off.
I was there for the whole like rise and fall of Machinima. Yeah. But that's probably people will come up to me and they'll tell me like, oh, dude, that was like my childhood, and I was like, yeah, it was mine too. I was like 17 when I made it.
Dude, yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's weird because it's like, yeah, like it's strange being on the internet as long as I have and basically having a fan base that's like about my age, if not like a year or two younger. Because it's kind of like I've seen a lot of people of my same era that, you know, had fan bases much younger just sort of fall off because it's like, oh yeah, people just kind of grew out of it. Mm-hmm. But I've kind of changed what I do like 5 or 6 times, and people just kind of keep following because it's like at the point where they're about to sort of be like, this is kind of lame. I also go, this is kind of lame. Yeah. I mean, now that I'm firmly into adulthood, I don't know if that's going to happen, but like, yeah, no, back in the day, it definitely did.
I think that's part of being an artist is like you're always going to have people that are messaging you that are just like, keep going, baby, do exactly what you're doing. But you're going to hit a point after like, even like the 3-year mark that you're just like, it's really time to mix it up, you know, like do something else. I think that's just the way.
Well, dude,
I think with the internet, there's no concept of like, oh, this has an ending, like a movie or a show. Yeah. It's like this has an ending, and once it's done, you're kind of just expecting it to be done. But the internet, it's like, oh, you make this series, just go forever. Mm-hmm. And then at a point, it just becomes, I can't believe you're still doing that.
Right. You know? Like it becomes The Simpsons. Pretty much.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
Well, dude, you're lucky because I think a lot of people, that whole like growth thing, I think is like important, especially like you're saying, if you're staying in the game for so long. But I think people like you are extremely lucky with being multifaceted. Like this music thing you're doing now and this band you formed. Like,
for sure.
There's a lot of people who can't sing. They can't do that type of stuff. Like, it's very crisp. It's very dope.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think like a lot of people on the internet, they don't bother developing a skill set because it's just like, oh yeah, I make League of Legends videos and League of Legends is super popular right now. Mm-hmm. And I have 1 million subscribers. I'm not going anywhere. And it's like, okay, dude, like, see how that works out for you in like 10 years. You know, you better save your money now because otherwise, like,
I think the recent example of that was the big Minecraft video craze and then the resurgence of it. I feel like a lot of people thought they were going to be able to ride that gravy train for a long time, but
yeah, like the 2011 era Minecraft.
Yes,
like none of those guys are around.
Yeah.
Like I mean, they're still around,
or they're crazy now. Like
or they're crazy. A lot of these people have like phantom subscribers, so they have like 3 million subscribers, and they can just kind of trick brands into thinking that they're worth advertising on, and just perpetually like, you know, living off that. But yeah,
I mean, I see that even. Yeah, I mean, I see that even now with honestly, the people that are, I know we were just talking about this and not to harp on it, but the people that are like moaning and groaning about Twitter shutting down, that are like, this is my livelihood, this is all I do. I'm like, dude, that's a problem. Like, you should recognize.
Dude, is there a way to make money on Twitter? I've been doing that for absolutely free for like
if you
no
get
reason.
Verified, you got to pay for the verification.
No, and then even if you pay for the verification, I think he hand selected like a couple of like alcohol.
Clearly, guy has lied about that like 4 times. He's been like, "We've got monetization, and we've got it today. You got to sign up." Yeah. And I did, and they didn't.
Yeah,
and piece of shit.
It's so real. But all these people that are not like that. If you have like, I think we are in the middle of an epidemic of people who have like 300,000 followers on Twitter and nothing else going for them, and they think that that's a career. And then once, like, let's say this website really does kind of go down the, or people stop using it, not that I really think that's going to happen, but maybe it will. It's like, guys, why don't you actually, you know, take up hobby? Can you get good at something? Because it's Twitter is not forever. Do you know what I mean?
I'll admit, like, I get a large number of my sales from Twitter, like people wanting to buy like a print or something of a comic. I get that aspect of it, but what's weird to me is when it's like people talking about like their whole social lives are on Twitter and like find me on Discord or something, and that's even more of me like, buddy, you gotta leave the house. You gotta leave the house, dude. Like, even for your own mental sanity, like, you gotta. You can't
my social. I've never had to like take the social media break or had the social media mental breakdown. And I think the big reason of it is I just don't see it as real life. You know, like if I'm going on Twitter, I'm like, I thought of a joke. I'm gonna go on Twitter and tell the joke, or I'm gonna go on Twitter and see like who I can fuck with or who I can like respond to in a funny way. I never think like, you know, I'm either doing crowd work or I'm up on stage. That's kind of where the mental box I put it in.
Dude.
I don't go like, oh, my mom died, I better tweet this. Like, it's not, you know.
I did make a tweet when my cat passed a few years ago, but that's my only cringe.
Yeah, post. I mean, use it however you want. You're just like, that's wrong and I'm right. And,
you know, like, did you happen to upset the Adele stands this morning with your more like a smell tweet? Or
that tweet got taken the wrong way, and I'm very, very sorry to a smell.
This tweet left my audience.
It's gotten way out of control, and I don't actually know what the woman smells like. She might smell great.
I don't know. Smells good, honestly. Yeah,
probably. When you're rich, you get to smell good. When you're poor, you get to stink.
When you started the like the animations at 17 and stuff, did you think it was going to be a career? Were you trying to make a career of it at that time, or were you just like, this is fun?
I actually didn't start with animations. I started with something called machinima, which before the company referred to a term that's like, have you ever seen Red versus Blue? It's like that, like but like the idea was always, eventually I want this to be animation. It was like, okay, I'm a teenager, I don't have resources. This is like the fastest I can make something without like, you know, buying camera equipment or anything like that. Like, it was always meant to be a placeholder until I could like move in animation. Then I tried animating for a bit and I fucking hated it, but I kind of learned like the fundamentals of it. So now I work with other animators and I just do everything on the audio writing sort of end. But because I animated for a little bit, I feel like I can communicate with them a little bit better than like most YouTubers that like have no idea how easy or hard anything. Oh, just have this guy like run towards the camera. I'm just like, just kind of maybe like you can kind of hide this in this cut, or like, you know, like I'm constantly trying to like keep their jobs easier so these cartoons don't cost me a ton. But I mean, they still, you know, I still like to make sure that people like get paid well. So usually I have a bunch of people that have like commissions and industry gigs, and I'm like, whenever that's dry, just come to me. I got work for you. You know, that's kind of like the niche I'm sitting in. But I'd like to, you know, expand to the point where it's like I have a few people on regular rotation.
Do you want to like? Do you see yourself as part of the industry, or do you see yourself as more as like an indie type guy? Because I know you work in that type of stuff, but it seems like your true love is making your own stuff, right?
I just like making shit. I don't care where it like ends up. But I'm kind of both. Like, I picked the funniest time to join the Screen Actors Guild. Like I'm like involved in shit.
Has that affected you at all? Are you on like strike technically, or
technically, but I don't really have any gigs that are, you know, in progress right now that are for anything being struck. You can actually do a fair amount of stuff, especially like in the indie, like, you know, YouTube. It's basically, as long as it's not going on like a streamer site, you don't have to be striking really right now. It's mainly like the WB, Amazon, Netflix that they want to put the squeeze on. So they released like a big thing, and it's like, this is what you can do, and it's basically pretty much everything I do. So I'm like, okay, but how dare they? How fucking dare they? For too long. That's my input.
Yeah, there you go. Do you have a piece? Because you like, we've kind of been talking about,
like
you have,
a gun.
Like, no, do you carry a bit? Yeah, do you keep that MF thing on you? No, I was gonna ask because you kind of do have like your hands in a lot of different.
I just
projects.
unplugged my headphones, so I didn't hear the rest of that.
I literally
question.
thought you were. I literally thought you were reaching for a gun right now. I was like, actually,
so did I.
I thought you were like, as a matter of fact, I got my
pulling out
Glock
a 9,
right
dude.
here. Yeah, literally.
Sig
I was gonna
Sauer.
say, I was wondering because we were talking about how you kind of have your hands in a lot of different projects, right? You're a little bit of maybe a jack of all trades, right? You have some voice acting, some animation, a lot of stuff. Is there something that comes to mind that you would like to be like remembered for? Maybe that's a heavy way of putting it, but like a magnum
That's
opus
deep.
of like is there something that you're most proud of that you've worked on so far?
Halo 4.
Yeah,
Halo 4.
No, I'm really proud of the stuff that we're doing with the band. I think that's really cool.
That's cool, man.
Oh yeah.
The cartoon stuff I like doing, like that's kind of the main thing. Is I'd like to eventually like scrape together enough to put together like something bigger than like the little short ones. Whether that's through a pitch or through like anything like that. Like I think the thing that I've always kind of like gone back to is like I don't want to make shit that people just kind of like forget about immediately. You know, like I think is if I make something that like people go back to like every like, you know, year or so and rewatch, like I consider that a win. I've just like I had a hard rule for a little bit where it's like I'm not going to do parodies, and I think that was kind of stupid, but like I for a while I didn't do that because I was like, oh yeah, if I make a parody, like nobody's going to watch it in like 10 years. But yeah, I've started breaking that a little bit, but I still don't want that to be like all I do.
I would argue that especially if there's people listening who want to do content, because I know a lot of people, you guys write in, you always ask how to get into stuff. I would argue that parody stuff is crucial for when you're at a small stage.
The thing you got to realize is that if you make something original, nobody's searching that search term.
Right. Yes.
So you've got to figure out a way to get people like into your marketing is something I'm not the best at, by the way, but it's just like, yeah, I've made about every mistake that you possibly can in that. So I can at least speak from that angle.
I mean, this was kind of like I almost like my ADD kind of distracted me from bringing up this point, but I was going to say earlier we were talking about how you put out this early video, the Halo video. Psychic Pebbles put out Arrow to the Knee. Somebody else I forget, and it's interesting that they're all video game references. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how it all started. That's how it all started out. Is like a lot of those memes start out as like parodying, you know, Skyrim or Halo or whatever, and it's like you said, it's because people are interested in that or looking for it, or they're going to come across it anyway because their friend is going to share it with them. It's very shareable to make that type of spoof material. Correct
me if I'm wrong, but it seems like, and I could be totally wrong, you were like an actual Newgrounds guy. I was more of a lurker. But it was almost like the dream of a Newgrounds guy was not to have an animated show like it is now. It was to make a video game, which is, I say that just because I remember Alien Hominid being such like a huge thing. That was like a Newgrounds that started on Newgrounds. Am I getting that correct? It was like that and Castle Crashers.
That and Castle Crashers both were,
Yes, dude.
I mean,
they were fresh.
Even now, Oni is working on Bulbo. He's
Bulbo, dude. I recently saw clips from it, and I was like, that guy, dude. What a talent to go from like his 2D animation, which he's great at, to then transition into Blender.
His Blender
equally like as amazing. Yeah, like wow.
Yeah. So and then the man himself, Tom Fulp, founder of Newgrounds, and Johnny Utah and Spaz Kid. Those guys are also working on a game called Nightmare Cops.
I've seen bits and pieces of that.
Yeah. That's that. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about that, but that's getting there.
It's interesting to see how Newgrounds feels like it's having almost a little bit of like a comeback. You know what I mean? Like it felt very like. I mean, it's always been there.
I think it's having a
it.
spiritual comeback. It's not so much having like a literal comeback. It had a big surge when Tumblr banned.
Right.
And then it had another big surge. There was another game called Friday Night Funkin', who I also know one of the guys who's working on, Dave. That was another big like Newgrounds surge because that was originally like a Newgrounds game.
Dude, that was one of those like the audience again. I refuse to play the game just because because of the audience.
It's basically like just DDR with like a keypad and some nice aesthetics. Yeah.
Does Newgrounds pay creators the way YouTube does, or is it? How
No,
does that
I
work?
wish it did. I mean, like the money's just not there. I think this is public knowledge. I think this has been like discussed publicly, but like Google kind of has like a boycott, or not a boycott, I guess, like a suppression of Newgrounds. Officially because it considers it a porn site, but unofficially probably because it was a potential competitor to YouTube.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, so they're like disqualified from any sort of like Google ads or any sort of shit like that. And they don't come up on like Google searches and shit like that. They're like mashed in search. So it's really just kind of an unfortunate sort of casualty of the fact that the internet is like the same 4 websites now.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
true.
the fact that there was porn on Newgrounds, though, let me tell you, a blessing. In Saudi Arabia, every porn website is blocked. Newgrounds wasn't, baby.
Oh, let's
yeah.
go.
I made my stand on Newgrounds. I'll tell you that.
Hell yeah.
That's probably why I have a thing for Mrs. Incredible and thick cartoon characters. I'm
Who
assuming.
doesn't?
Who doesn't? The Newgrounds, I think, is, well, I could be wrong here, but at least when I tried joining, I think they're missing a huge audience by not having, they don't have an app. There's no mobile app for Newgrounds. It's just a website.
Do they not?
No, I tried download. I was like, oh, let me make a Newgrounds account. That'd be kind of cool. I could start posting there and doing some random shit there. And yeah, you have to type in like it's 1998. You have to go www.newgrounds.com on your
Yeah,
computer.
That makes it
Newgrounds
kinda
has some
hipper.
cool feature sets though. Like I like the way that you can credit multiple artists. That's really good. You could like
Yeah.
split revenue whatever comes in, and like I don't know. It's got like an audio portal. It's got an art portal. It's got a lot of different things. But yeah,
Where
That
does
would be
revenue come in if there's no AdSense?
there is, but it's like very very small
Very
because
scarce.
it's all like the like hand purchased like Adventure Quest browser
My
game
God,
ads and
We
shit.
brought that game up, Bob.
Quest,
Dude, that game was
I loved
so
that game. I was
insane,
obsessed, and
dude.
I remember my login and everything for that. I opened it up like a month ago just to be like, "Is it still sitting here?"
Is it
And
still there?
It's still there. I mean, they made a lot of changes, and I actually think that they stripped away a lot of what I loved about it, which was that all the art was clearly drawn in MS Paint with like a mouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't really. It actually looks like good now,
Good
which
now?
is
Oh, that's
not,
lame.
which I don't really
Yeah.
love. I kind of miss that. And the biggest problem, I actually learned this. I think one of my friends told me this, but I noticed it when I went on immediately. Is they took away you can't just click like random battle on the home screen anymore. It used to be like, right on the side, it could just say battle monsters and you click it and it would just take you to a random battle. And sometimes you would get like, the Blade of Awe, or it would take you down some crazy rabbit hole, but they got rid of it. You have to go like to the map and find like a quest.
You were
Yeah,
saying too, though, they added like other races instead of white people, and that
I know.
you really didn't
Italians.
like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they added a werewolf Italian race. I couldn't believe it. I was like, they made Adventure Quest woke. Why the fuck would they do that?
Woke Quest, baby.
Woke Quest.
Yeah, I never fucked with Adventure Quest. My garbage like freeware, like I have no money and I'm 12 game was the shitty Korean
real.
like fighting game called Rumble Fighter.
Rumble
Wow.
Fighter.
Yeah, it was garbage. I played so much of it as like a 14-year-old.
Yeah,
It was
I
an actual piece of shit, but it was kind of fun.
Did
Dude,
you
I
either
thought-
of you
I-
play Super Smash Flash on Newgrounds? Because
I did.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
huge.
That
for me.
one was
If we're
sick.
talking
I didn't
like
have a
browser
Nintendo.
games,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's that. There was a interactive buddy was
Yes,
a good
we
one.
literally
Bro,
were just
dude.
playing that. Yeah,
But no,
it's so-
there was
so
something
good.
wrong with the Flash, I think, that we can't play it anymore.
We couldn't. Well,
Oh,
we couldn't
really?
get it working on
Dude,
the computer.
I remember it, bro, in Saudi Arabia, every kid, the George Bush skin that you could get, every kid used the George Bush skin, bro. It was
Destroyed that
crazy.
one.
Mhm.
I remember I completely missed the wave as a kid of RuneScape. All my friends were playing RuneScape.
I never did either,
They
bro.
were like, bro, you gotta get on RuneScape. I'm like, buddy, my computer is a gateway like computer that my entire family shares on dial-up connection. How the f- do you think I'm gonna run RuneScape on this
Yeah,
thing? It
I never got
worked.
into the RuneScape.
Never worked. And now that has like a huge resurgence too. People are playing like vanilla RuneScape or whatever.
Yeah,
the fuck you call
still
it, like the
around.
original. It's still
Nerds.
around.
Reddit.
That's the
Reddit.
weird thing is there's one okay, RuneScape is like an interesting can of worms because like there's people in Venezuela that their job is to farm RuneScape. And there's like one specific monster that they'll just like farm over and over because it's like the highest yield and it pays more than minimum wage there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I went out with, this was years ago. I went out with one of my buddies. He was meeting a group of his cousins who had flown in from out of town at like a bar or a club. And he was like, dude, come with me. It'll be a good time. I was like, okay. And there was one there, this bald guy, fairly young, but he looked like he was like big pimping. Like they were all flocked around him and he was like buying drinks and stuff. And I was like, yo, what's the deal with your cousin? And he's like, dude, you're not going to believe this. That kid, he's like a multi-millionaire RuneScape player. And I was like, you're joking. He was being dead serious. So this random Filipino guy was like extremely well paid. He's Filipino.
Swagged out. Of course.
He was swagged out.
Of course.
He definitely fit the bill. Totally missed the wave on you.
Yo, bringing the convo back to Lyle and not no, dude, you're good. I threw us off. But dude, with you having your fingers in a ton of other people's projects is clearly because like if you want something good, you want someone to do a good voice, you want someone to do good, you get Mr. Lyle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
However, I know some people get uncomfortable with compliments, but breezing over that, do you ever want? Are you comfortable being the guy that makes other projects better, or would you want your own show or project, or I guess you're kind of doing it with this band, but do you ever want your own thing one day, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Definitely, but also I do like not having the pressure of it like coming down to you. That makes sense.
Right.
Like I feel like just my work ethic is a lot better when I'm working for somebody else because I can go like, this is good enough. This fulfills like the needs of what I'm doing and I can leave it. I've definitely got that like perfectionism, like,
right.
Oh, it's not right. It's not, like that kind of thing. Gotten better about it, especially as I've gotten more like deadline driven. But like it's definitely there's two sides to it. I like both for different reasons.
How long, you're saying with that perfectionist thing, let me just get the exact time. While I'm pulling it up, how long would something like that Dark Souls animation you did take you to do when it comes to like wanting everything to be perfect? Or is something like that?
That wasn't one that I wanted to be perfect. Like the parodies and stuff, like I'm just like, whatever. I think the longest I ever spent on a video was like 8 months, and then I never released it because I was like, I don't like this.
Oh no! What was it? A parody, or can you give us any info?
It was like a music video thing, and
wow.
Yeah. I got it all shot on like a green screen studio and stuff like that, and just like my music production skills weren't great. By the end of it, I hated the song, and because it was shot on a green screen, and this was maybe like 2012. It was just like I didn't have like a good 3D guy basically at the time. I don't know. I guess I could revisit it. That'd be kind of weird because then I'd be like noticeably younger in it. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I spent like 8 months on it and I just never released it. So that's the risk of like doing stuff like sort of where you're at the helm of it.
Yeah.
Dude, you could easily do some sort of Boyhood thing. Is that what that movie was where they filmed it over 20 years? Yeah. Just finish some ending scenes, tweak them with you older.
I could. I still have the footage. I've thought about that actually. I'm just making it like a completely different, like weird project.
Yeah. Dude, that could be crispy.
I mean, dude, you know what's funny is you probably hated it by the end because you had just seen it and heard it over and over and over.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've found is that like the stuff that I've made on my own that I've liked is usually the shit that I move through faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's better to do it that way anyway.
We've talked about. Well, I guess it's not whether we like it or not, but usually projects, we mainly do webcomics. We do animation sometimes, but it's always the comics that we make in like 3 milliseconds and just shit out are the ones that just like take off, or that like people really seem to like. And then there's ones that you
definitely
really
those
worked
ideas
on.
where you're like, you have a stupid idea and you're like grinning through the whole thing. And you're like, let's make it stupider, and those are usually the fun ones.
Yeah.
I've also had it the other way though, where I'm just like, this isn't funny at all. And it's just like I'm too far in to quit now. and then like at the very end, you're like, oh, this became funny again.
Yeah.
That happens.
I think
too.
part of it is, especially as an animator, it's like hearing the same joke 20 times while you're workshopping. It just like, this sucks.
Yeah,
but then
I've kind of
it's
learned
like,
that you have to trust the version of yourself from like a month ago or whatever that thought it was a really good
That's
idea.
true.
That's amazing advice for the viewers at home.
It's actually true.
Dude,
Yeah.
I just realized we have 5 minutes left. We're probably gonna keep going, but I realized we started late, so if you gotta go, no pressure.
No, I could stick around for a little bit longer. if you
Hell
want.
yeah. Let's
The
run
most
another.
based guest we've had on.
Absolutely.
Hands down. Vosh, you gotta live up to this, bro, because Lyle's
Oh, did he
killing
f you over?
No,
No,
he didn't. That's Ego Raptor.
Isn't Ego Raptor? We're watching you, dude. Dude, I wanted to talk to you more about the music because I can tell from
I got
talking to you.
a
that
music
that's like
question too, bro.
That's a big. I can see that that's like something you're really passionate about right now, which is awesome because I am a huge music fan as well, which I'm sure a lot of people would say. But
You're also very talented at making music. You don't like to blow yourself up, but Harris makes some fresh ass.
Does he?
music, dude.
I appreciate it.
Amazing.
Thank you. I'm not. I wouldn't say I have like technical ability, but anyway. But is there any like musicians that you kind of were inspired by also when you started playing? Are you strictly like a metal guitarist, or do you like dabble into other stuff too?
I have kind of a weird like autistic relationship with music where I just straight up thought I didn't like it because I grew up in the 90s with like the boy bands and the pop music and grunge and shredding wasn't cool and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, oh yeah, I don't like music. And then when I was about like 13 or 14, I got into like AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, that kind of stuff.
Based.
Really quickly went into like
Born in the Wrong Generation.
Children of Bodom, Judas Priest,
Yes.
like In Flames.
Hell yeah.
Judas
That kind
Priest goes crazy. I think that has a lasting power too. Like even the first time I heard Judas Priest, I was pretty old, honestly, because I was like, yo, that's for fucking boomers. I would never listen to that. And I put it on at the gym and I was like, holy shit, I like ascended.
I'd off the top of my head, if you asked me to name like the best album of all time, depending on the day, I would say Painkiller.
Yes.
Like
it's so hard.
That album.
It absolutely
so hard.
does. It absolutely does.
Yo,
would you say
real
that's
quick,
a big inspiration for you?
I gotta jump in and just thank the execs real quick. I'm sorry.
sorry.
Or else, yeah, dude, my bad. Iman, a giant hairy spider, Big Tasty, Gwyn, Bread Zero, Protista, Francho, Protagon, Trevor Stilson, Kongaheli, Trashbinz, Gzan, Brap Brap Pew Pew, Bugs on My Wee Wee, and Shrek the Third. God bless. Okay. If I didn't mention that right now and cut in, we would continue just rolling right through it.
Oh yeah, once we get like started talking about bands, it's like fucking over, man.
Dude, in the last 3 minutes, I'm so curious. This had to cross your mind, especially because you and Dave. It's Dave of Cyanide, right? It's not one of the other guys. Okay. Did you guys ever consider approaching it like at a Gorillaz angle and doing like a completely cartoon or animated band?
Oh, that's interesting.
So Petrified Giant is an interesting kind of project because I think it's like for both of us, we spend so much time like being funny and doing that kind of shit that it's like it's a totally different angle.
Yeah.
But I mean, the real answer to that is just there's like a really high budget involved in something like that. And it's annoying. And especially if you're like starting up from zero, which we are, it's like.
Is there what exactly would be, I guess you're saying for more of like if you were doing like an animation or like a music video type thing?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Music videos.
I'm assuming you guys will.
Especially, yeah.
You probably will do at least one, though. I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably down the line. Yeah.
That's
stream our music, make it happen.
Where can we find you guys?
Spot?
Spotify?
Yeah, we're on Spotify, iTunes, wherever music is.
Petrified Giant. Okay.
Yeah, YouTube.
Which is that's a fresh name. Also, I like the name Petrified Giant.
Yeah, it's kind of the battle of every band name ever has been taken already. So
yeah, that's very true. Which one of you guys? Because you're all artists. Which one of you guys designed the logo? Did you guys have to arm wrestle for it or something?
I think that was somebody that Dave knew. I don't even think it was any of us.
Oh, really?
Designed that one. Yeah.
Oh, I just noticed you're wearing a Petrified Giant shirt. I don't know why
Yeah.
I'm really slow. Yeah, that's a fresh shirt actually.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
sick.
hell yeah.
Bro,
We got
there's
merch and everything.
Oh, you do have merch? Is there?
Yeah, you can buy this very shirt that I'm wearing.
Petrifiedgiant.com.
Yeah, something like it's like shop.petrifiedgiant.com or something.
All right.
Let's go.
Audience, figure it out. Figure it out and let us know so we can buy a shirt.
Website.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Dude, well, listen, we're about to go into a quick 5, and we're coming back. And if you want to hear the rest of it, you got to join the Patreon, or else Lyle will beat you like the rats, which we have to talk about in this upcoming part.
We haven't even moved into rat territory.
I completely forgot. I figured you would be, because the way everyone was asking, I'm like, this poor guy probably gets rat questions every time he talks to people, but I'm excited to learn more. Also, just so you know, we did have a recent rodent that was part of our family die, so tread carefully.
That's true.
Okay, I won't, but
Rest
okay.
in peace, Frank. This is all out of respect to Frank. This episode, all of the proceeds that go to from this episode
They'll
are
go
going
to Frank's family, his
Frank's
wife.
Yeah, they'll go to Frank's flowers for Frank's grave.
Wife, yeah, exactly. Oh god,
did you guys have to read that? Did you guys have to read that?
Flowers for Algernon,
bro?
Yeah, no.
Dude. You got a joke?
That rat was an idiot. Let me think. Yeah, I got a joke for us. So Lizzo walks into a bar. And
it's Big Don, Donald Trump. Just wanted to tell you that this is the first half of the episode. The boys and Lyle have so much more to talk about. Maybe rats, maybe something else. Join the Patreon to see the last half, more bonus episodes, and early access to Beetle Moses and YOLO Swag Studios comics. I approve this message.